name is Christelle. I'm 25 years old, and I'm a Montrealer from a Haitian descent. My soul, my spirit is very Montreal. This is where I feel home. This is all I've known.
My name is Marjorie Villefranche. I am the General Director of Maison d'Haïti, and I arrived in Montreal in 1964. The motivation of the first wave is for political reason, because we had a very terrible dictatorship in Haiti, and it was after the student strikes in Haiti, and the repression was terrible. So all the young professionals had to leave the country because they were suspected of being anti-government. The dictator's name was François Duvalier, and the style of repression was people used to disappear, and we didn't know what happened to them. So everybody was afraid of that kind of treatment. So a lot of young professionals left the country at that moment. And it was a period in Quebec where it was the Révolution Tranquille period. So they needed people with a good skill and speaking French. So it was ideal. It was an ideal encounter, I would say. The dictator died in 1971, and everybody thought probably it would be finished with that dictatorship, but he put his son at his place before he died, and the son was 21, so he was very young. So people in the country under that dictatorship say, well, there is no light at the end of that tunnel.
So my father came to Montreal first in the 70s. He was only there for a visit, and he sort of never went back. My dad lived around Montreal in all different places. Actually, he lived in the Island for a while. And it's kind of hilarious because the rent was like $100 a month during the 70s and all. When my mother came to join him, they lived in Saint Leonard with my brother, and she was pregnant with me. And when I was about a few months old, they moved in Laval in the house they still own to this day.
When the second wave arrived, they didn't have any family to where to go. There was a lot of rooms for rent in the Saint-Hubert and Saint-Denis at the beginning. So when they arrived, they lived there. So the first Maison d'Haïti, I would say, settled there because in Saint-Denis, because this is where they were. When they began to work, and they had to rent an apartment to sponsor the rest of the family, so they began to decide where they are going to stay. This is when they experienced the first discrimination in their life, because when they went to certain neighborhood, they didn't rent them the apartments. So I would say Saint-Michel and Montreal Nord probably was easier to rent, because when they arrived here, it was full of Italian people living in Saint-Michel, and the Italian used to rent them more easily. So this is when they settled. You begin to have a church, you begin to have stores. So this is how a neighborhood began.
So growing up in a house that's Haitian, it's like, in my point of view, it was like having a double life. Like outside, I'd be like a regular kid, I'd play with my friends and so on. But when I would come home, I would have to, my mom was very strict, so I would have to do my homework, I would have to behave, so on and so forth. So it was sort of like, okay, I can be crazy outside, but I have to be like a good kid inside. So my mom doesn't know, but I guess she knew, Moms are magical, they know.
I would say around 14,000 people arrived after the earthquake, and most of them was family coming from the family reunion, because Quebec put that special program so you could make that family reunion again. I remember just after the earthquake when the kids arrived here, so they were so happy to be in a quiet country, in a peaceful country. So they were very happy to be there, and they were very happy to go to school. So when you arrive and your children are happy, so you start to be happy yourself. Usually I told them, you have to like winter. If you don't like winter, you will be miserable. So let's learn to like the winter. So this is what we are doing.
Est-ce qu'on croit dans moi?